Before we begin, if you're searching for peace, healing, and emotional restoration, follow this channel. Every message here is meant to remind you that God still heals anxious hearts. Take a deep breath. Let's start. Joyce Meyer often shares a truth that seems simple on the surface, but carries a weight that can break chains. She says something like, "Your mind is the battlefield. If you don't take control of your thoughts will take control of you." And when we're honest, anxiety is exactly that. A battle that begins long before anyone sees it. Anxiety isn't loud. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, "You're not safe. You're going to lose everything. No one understands you. This won't get better." And these whispers become storms. Joyce teaches that most of our suffering comes from believing the lies the enemy plants in our minds. And she reminds us of Paul's words, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12:2. But how do you renew a mind drowning in fear? Joyce explains that renewing the mind is a daily battle, a discipline of replacing lies with truth, replacing fear with faith. Another strong principle she teaches is, you can't have a positive life with a negative mind. This hits deeply when you're living with anxiety, because negativity isn't a habit, it's a survival reaction. She says something else powerful, don't let your feelings vote, meaning, your feelings may speak, but they don't get to decide who you are or where you go. And the Bible agrees. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5-7. To cast is not to place gently. To cast is to throw. To let go violently, deliberately, intentionally. Joyce always emphasizes this. God never asked you to carry what was killing you. And then she reminds us, God will not deliver you from a battle you're still holding on to. Anxiety grows in silence, but healing begins when we stop believing that fear has the final word. And God himself says, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. Be still, not because life is calm, but because he is God even when life isn't. I wish I could tell you that I learned all of this easily, that I simply prayed, believed, and woke up free. But that's not how anxiety works. There was a season of my life when waking up felt like losing a battle I hadn't even started fighting yet. An invisible weight pressed on my chest every morning. A weight I couldn't explain, couldn't escape, couldn't breathe around. I remember one night in particular, a night when everything in me felt like it was collapsing. My mind was racing so fast I couldn't catch a single thought. My heart felt like it was running from something that wasn't even there. I tried to sleep, but fear kept waking me up. I tried to pray, but the words felt hollow. I tried to breathe, but even my breath felt too heavy. And then came the thought that scared me the most. Maybe I'm not strong enough to make it. Joyce often talks about her own battles with emotional trauma. She says, the enemy attacks what he fears. If he's fighting you hard, it's because God placed something powerful inside you. Those words came back to me at the exact moment I felt like breaking. But anxiety doesn't always come alone. Sometimes it brings pain from the past with it. During this same season, I went through a betrayal that shattered me in ways I couldn't explain. Someone I trusted deeply walked away without warning, leaving behind unanswered questions, emotional wounds, and a silence that felt like abandonment. That betrayal made my anxiety darker. Every fear became louder. Every insecurity felt confirmed. Every hopeful thought felt naive. I kept thinking, if someone who knew me so well chose to leave, why would God stay? But one day, in the middle of my lowest moment, something broke. I remembered a verse I had heard 100 times but never truly lived. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 to 18. And for the first time, I didn't just read it, I felt it. Not all at once. Not like a miracle moment, but like a gentle hand pulling me out from the edge inch by inch. In the silence of that battle, God spoke one simple truth into my heart. You are not alone in this. And that sentence didn't fix everything, but it saved me. Looking back now, I understand something I couldn't see then. The anxiety didn't break me. It built me. Because God didn't remove the storm, He entered it with me. Joyce teaches this all the time. Stop asking God to take the problem away. Ask Him to walk with you through it. And He did. Slowly, gently, faithfully. The betrayal didn't define me. The anxiety didn't destroy me. The fear didn't finish me. Because God was rewriting my story in the very places I thought were ruined. Today, I can say with conviction, anxiety didn't win, because God had already gone ahead of me. And the same is true for you. If you're listening to this right now, it's not by accident. God is calling you to breathe again, to hope again, to trust again, not in your strength, but in His. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. John 14:27. Let these words settle in your soul. Let them calm your mind. Let them remind you, you're not broken, you're becoming. And the God who carried me is ready to carry you too. If this message touched you, follow this channel so you don't walk this journey alone. We're building a place of peace, healing, and spiritual transformation. And now, as promised, here is your moment of rest. Close your eyes. Let the music guide you. Let God calm the storm inside you.